The first thing most people grab before a winter storm is bread and milk. Both are useless inside 72 hours without power. Bread molds, milk spoils. You spent $12 to feel better for one day. Military cold weather doctrine teaches a different logic. Every item earns its place by solving a specific way winter kills people indoors, not by making you comfortable, by keeping you alive. One item on this list costs $3 and does the job of a $50 space heater with no electricity required. Most people walk past it at Walmart without a second look. 11 items, one cart, under $90. 72 hours of grid down winter survival in a house with no heat and no power. While everyone else is fighting over bottled water and firewood, you're already home and set up. Item 1. Foam interlocking floor tiles, $10 to $15 a pack. You'll find them in the fitness section or the children's section. Most people think home gym flooring. Cold weather doctrine says something different. Ground insulation matters more than what you pile on top of yourself. Your body loses heat 25 times faster through direct contact with a cold surface than through still air. That's not an opinion. That's thermodynamics. You're sleeping on hardwood. You're sleeping on concrete. Without a thermal break underneath you, your core temperature drops even under heavy blankets. The heat bleeds straight down. You can stack every comforter in the house on top of yourself and still wake up shivering at 3 in the morning because the floor is pulling warmth out of your body faster than the blankets can trap it. These EVA foam tiles change that equation. Layered beneath your sleeping area, they deliver an R value comparable to a basic camping pad. They create a thermal break between your body and the floor. This is the principle they drill at the Marine Corps Mountain Warfare Training Center in Bridgeport. Insulate below before you insulate above. The civilian instinct is to pile blankets higher. The trained response is to put the barrier underneath. One pack covers a sleeping area for 2 people. You cut them to fit with a kitchen knife. They interlock flat with no tape required. They weigh almost nothing. They store in a closet. And when there's no emergency, your kids use them as playmats. Cost per function on this item is unmatched by anything else in the store. That's $15 solving the single biggest heat loss problem most people don't even know they have. Running total, $15. I've written up a complete cold weather preparation guide that goes deeper on everything you need to know, and you'll find that linked first in the description. Item 2. Tea light candles and a terracotta pot. This is your $3 heater. You take 4 tea light candles. You place them on a fireproof surface. A ceramic plate works. A baking sheet works. You invert a terracotta pot over the candles. Each candle produces roughly 75 to 80 BTUs per hour. The ceramic absorbs that heat and re-radiates it across a wider surface area than open flame alone. You're converting 4 tiny flames into a thermal mass that pushes warmth outward in every direction. This will not heat your house. Don't expect it to. That's not what it's for. You're concentrating heat in the smallest possible volume. 1 bathroom, 1 closet, 1 interior hallway sealed off from the rest of the structure. Military warming station. Doctrine operates on the same principle. You don't try to heat the whole building. You pick the smallest interior room with the fewest exterior walls, and you make that your survival space. A terracotta heater in a sealed bathroom can raise the ambient temperature by several degrees. That's the difference between uncomfortable and dangerous. The pot costs $4. A bag of 100 tea lights costs $3 to $4 at Walmart. You've got enough fuel for multiple nights. Most people spend $40 to $60 on an electric space heater that becomes a paperweight the second the grid goes down. You just built a heater that runs on wax and clay for under $8. Running total, $23. Item 3. Clear plastic shower curtain liners, $3 each. These are the most versatile thermal tool on this list. You tape one over a window and you've just created a dead air gap that mimics double glazing. That cuts heat loss through single pane glass by up to 50%. You drape one across a doorway, and you've sealed your designated warm room from the rest of the house. You lay one under your bedding, and it functions as a vapor barrier. That concept comes straight out of MCRP 1210A.3, the Marine Corps Winter Survival Course Handbook. Moisture is the enemy. Wet insulation is dead insulation. Your body produces sweat vapor even while you sleep. That moisture migrates into your blankets and sleeping layers. Once those layers get damp, their insulating value collapses. A plastic liner underneath traps that moisture below your sleeping surface instead of letting it saturate your bedding from beneath. Most people never think about moisture management during a winter outage. They layer blankets and wonder why they're still cold by the second night. The answer is their insulation is wet. 2 or 3 of these liners outperform any unpowered space heater in your house. You're spending $9 for window insulation, room partitioning, and vapor control. Buy 3. Running total, $32. Item 4, duct tape. This is on every military packing list for a reason. No single item matches its functional range per ounce. 60 yards for $5. You use it to secure the plastic sheeting over your windows. You use it to seal door gaps where cold air infiltrates. You use it to patch drafts around outlets and vents on exterior walls. You use it to repair torn outerwear. You use it to repair sleeping bags. You use it to improvise splints. You use it to reseal food packaging. The failure mode without duct tape is simple. Every other item on this list works less effectively. Your shower curtain liners don't stay mounted. Your warm room leaks air. Your insulation strategy has gaps. $5 eliminates those gaps. Most people already have a half-used roll somewhere in a junk drawer. Don't rely on that. Buy a fresh roll with a full 60 yards. Cold weather tape consumption is higher than you expect. Every seal, every patch, every repair draws from the same supply. Running total, $37. Item 5, peanut butter, honey, and oats. Your body burns more fuel in the cold. That's not a guideline, that's physiology. Caloric expenditure increases 25 to 50% in cold environments, even while sitting still. Your body burns calories to maintain core temperature through a process called thermogenesis. Research from the Natick Soldier Research Center documents this across decades of cold weather field studies. A 16-ounce jar of peanut butter contains roughly 2,500 calories. Honey never spoils. It's one of the only foods on Earth with an indefinite shelf life. Oats can be eaten cold soaked in water. No cooking required. No refrigeration required. No power required. You're looking at over 10,000 calories for under $10. That covers one person for 3 to 4 days of cold weather caloric demand. Bread and milk can't compete with that math. Bread gives you roughly 1,200 calories per loaf before it molds. Milk gives you about 600 calories per quart before it spoils. Both require conditions you don't have during a grid-down event. Peanut butter, honey, and oats require nothing. They sit at room temperature. They deliver dense, sustained energy. They taste fine without preparation. Running total, $47. Item 6. Pay attention to this one. Battery-operated carbon monoxide detector. This is the most important item on this list. This is where the conversation shifts from comfort to whether you wake up in the morning. During Winter Storm Uri in Texas in 2021, carbon monoxide poisoning calls surged 600%. People ran generators indoors. People lit charcoal grills in garages. People left gas ovens open for heat. CO is colorless. CO is odorless. The symptoms mimic flu and exhaustion. You feel tired. You feel nauseous. You think you're just cold and worn out. You lie down. You don't get back up. Your hardwired home CO detector dies when the power dies. Most people don't realize that. The detector wired into your ceiling is connected to your home's electrical system. No power, no detection. A battery-operated unit costs $20 to $30. It runs on 2 AA batteries. It works whether the grid is up or down. You place it in your designated warm room at breathing height, not on the ceiling, at the level where you're sleeping. That's where CO concentrates first relative to your airways. If you're using any flame source for heat or light, candles included, you need carbon monoxide detection in that room. This item doesn't keep you warm. It doesn't feed you. It doesn't insulate anything. It keeps you alive. The difference between a survivable outage and a body recovery is a $30 detector with 2 batteries. Running total, $77. Item 7. Hand and toe warmers in bulk, roughly $1 per pair. These are exothermic iron powder packets that reach 135 degrees and hold that temperature for up to 10 hours. Most people shove these in their coat pockets and call it done. That's the least effective placement. Military application places them inside boots against the sole of the foot and against the torso under a base layer. Inside a sleeping bag, you position them at your feet and against your core. Those are your 2 primary heat loss zones while sleeping. They maintain warmth through an entire night with no combustion and no electricity, no fire risk, no CO risk, no battery drain. A 10-pack covers 5 nights for 1 person, under $10. You combine these with your foam tiles below and your vapor barrier liner above, and you've built a sleep system that keeps core temperature stable through sub-freezing nights without a single watt of electricity. The civilian version of this is cranking a gas fireplace and hoping the pipes hold. Your version runs on iron powder and costs less than a fast food meal. Running total, $87. Item 8, 5-gallon bucket, heavy-duty trash bags, and cat litter. This is your field latrine. Nobody wants to talk about this. Everybody needs it. When your pipes freeze, your toilet stops working. When your toilet stops working, sanitation becomes a crisis within 24 hours. Military Field Sanitation Protocol from ATP 425.12 treats this as a critical health protection measure. You line the bucket with a heavy-duty trash bag. You add a layer of cat litter after each use. The litter absorbs moisture and controls odor. You seal and replace the bag as needed. Total cost under $15. In every documented disaster after-action report, sanitation failure is cited as one of the first systems to collapse and the last to be addressed. People plan for food, people plan for warmth, nobody plans for the toilet. Then the toilet stops flushing and the house becomes unlivable within a day. You solve that problem for the cost of a bucket, a box of bags, and 8 pounds of cat litter. That's field hygiene at the most basic and most critical level. Running total, $90. You're at budget. Item 9, headlamp, $5 to $10 in the camping section. Your phone battery drains fast in cold temperatures. Lithium-ion batteries lose capacity below freezing. Your phone is too valuable for communication to waste as a flashlight. A handheld flashlight ties up one hand. You need both hands to cook, to seal windows, to manage your warm room, to help your kids. A headlamp runs 20 to 60 hours on fresh batteries. It goes where your eyes go. No fumbling, no holding, no setting it down and losing your angle. Buy 1 per person in the household. Pack spare batteries. This is $5 that eliminates the frustration and inefficiency of every task you perform in the dark. Most people don't think about light until the power goes out. Then they burn through their phone battery in 4 hours trying to see. You're already set up with dedicated lighting that lasts days. Item 10. Pipe insulation foam tubes, $3 to $4 per 6-foot section. This is the highest damage prevention per dollar item on the entire list. A single burst pipe causes $5,000 to $70,000 in water damage. You apply foam tube insulation to every exposed pipe you can access before the storm hits. Basement pipes, crawl space pipes, pipes in exterior walls where you can reach them, pipes under sinks on exterior walls. You're spending $12 to $15 on foam tubes to prevent a 5-figure insurance claim. The math on that is not complicated. Veterans harden infrastructure before the event. Civilians react after failure. When that pipe bursts at 2 in the morning during a 12-degree night with no plumber available for 3 days, you're not fixing it. You're watching water pour through your ceiling. Foam tubes take 10 minutes to install. You slit them lengthwise if they're not pre-slit. You press them over the pipe. You tape the seam. Done. $12 and 10 minutes versus a $70,000 remediation. Item 11. Mylar emergency blankets. This is the closing force multiplier, $1 to $2 each. These reflect up to 90% of radiated body heat back toward the source. That's not marketing, that's material science. Aluminum-coated polyester reflects infrared radiation. Here's where this gets interesting. You take one and hang it on the wall behind your terracotta heater from item 2, reflective side facing the room. You've just doubled the radiant heat output into your warm space. Heat that was radiating uselessly into the wall now bounces back into the room. You take another one and layer it inside your sleeping bag with a small air gap between the Mylar and your body. You've transformed the thermal retention of your entire sleep system. You take a third and tape it reflective side, inward over a window. You've cut radiant heat loss through that glass. At $1 per blanket, this item outperforms dedicated survival products that cost 20 times more, but only if you know how to deploy it. Most people grab a Mylar blanket, wrap it around their shoulders, and wonder why it's crinkling and useless. The Mylar needs an air gap to reflect. Direct contact conducts heat away. Proper deployment means spacing, positioning, and understanding that reflection requires distance. That's the difference this entire list is built on. Not expensive gear. Expertise applied to cheap materials. 11 items. 1 cart. $60 to $90 total. 72 hours of survivability in a house with no grid, no heat, and no second chances. The gap between a warning and empty shelves is 6 to 12 hours, and that guide in the description covers how to make every hour count. Drop a comment with the one item you'd add to this list.